Every family has secrets, little ones mostly, embarrassing stories, financial troubles nobody talks about, that uncle who did time, Aunt Sarah's first marriage, normal stuff, human stuff. But some families have the other kind, the kind that gets locked in attics, hidden in safe deposit boxes, whispered about only after everyone's had too much to drink at Thanksgiving, the kind that, when you finally find out, you understand why nobody ever told you. These are 4 of those stories. And I need to warn you, these aren't fun secrets. These are the ones that change how you see everyone you thought you knew. I want to be clear about something up front. I'm not here to judge these families, or the people in them. Life is complicated. People make choices. Sometimes those choices are understandable, sometimes they're not. But secrets have a way of festering, of growing teeth, of waiting in the dark until someone opens the wrong door. The 4 stories I'm about to tell you are real. Names and some details have been changed, obviously. But the core of each story, that's exactly how it happened. First story involves an inheritance that came with instructions nobody followed. Second one's about a grandmother's closet and what was found behind the false wall. Third story, that's about a DNA test in a family tree that didn't make sense. And the fourth is about a father's locked office and the ritual his daughter discovered. These aren't ghost stories. There's nothing supernatural here, just people and the things they hide. And honestly, that's so much worse, because ghosts can't hurt you. But the truth about your family, that can destroy everything you thought you knew about where you came from. So, you ready? Let's start with the inheritance. This story comes from a woman named Rachel. She's 42 now. This happened when she was 37. Rachel's grandfather died in June 2019. He was 91, lived a good long life. Successful businessman, devoted husband, pillar of the community. All the things they write in obituaries. Rachel had been close to him growing up. Summer visits to his house in Connecticut, learning to fish, him teaching her chess, good memories. The funeral was nice, well attended. People told stories about how generous he'd been, how much he'd meant to the community. 2 weeks later, Rachel gets a call from the family lawyer. She's been named in the will. She inherits the house, the whole thing. Furniture, belongings, but everything. It's a generous gift. The house is worth probably $800,000. But there's a condition. The lawyer reads it to her over the phone. Rachel inherits the property on the condition that she does not, under any circumstances, open the locked door in the basement. This door is to remain locked in perpetuity. Should this condition be violated, the property reverts to the estate and will be sold, with proceeds going to charity. Rachel's confused. What locked door? I'm not familiar with the property, the lawyer says, but your grandfather was very specific about this clause. He added it to his will in 1987 and reaffirmed it every time he updated the document. That's weird. It's unusual, yes, but if you accept the inheritance, you accept the terms. Rachel thinks about it. $800,000 house. All she has to do is not open one door. Easy. She accepts. Rachel moves in that August. The house is beautiful. Everything's been maintained perfectly. Her grandfather had good taste. She spends the first few weeks sorting through his belongings, photos, books, clothes, deciding what to keep, what to donate. It's emotional, but cathartic. She feels connected to him. She doesn't go in the basement right away, doesn't need to. The house has plenty of storage, but eventually she needs to check the water heater, something about the hot water not lasting as long as it should. She opens the basement door, flips on the light, heads down the wooden stairs. The basement is finished, carpet, drywall, not creepy at all. Her grandfather had used it as a workshop. There's a workbench, tools neatly organized, storage shelves, and at the far end, past the water heater and furnace, a door. It's made of heavy wood, old, doesn't match anything else in the basement, and it has 3 deadbolts, all locked. Rachel stands in front of it, stares. This is the door. Has to be. She reaches out, touches the wood. It's cold, noticeably colder than the rest of the basement. She tries the handle, obviously locked. Part of her wants to open it, desperately wants to open it. What could possibly be behind there that required a clause in a will? What's so important that it would cost her this house? But she made a promise. And $800,000 is $800,000. She goes back upstairs. For 3 months, she doesn't think about it much, gets on with her life, makes the house her own. Then November comes. She's hosting Thanksgiving. Her parents, her sister, there's some cousins. After dinner, her father pulls her aside. "So," he says quietly, "have you been in the basement?" Rachel nods. "Yeah, needed to check the water heater." Her father's expression changes, tenses. "Did you?" "No," Rachel says quickly. "I didn't open it. I know about the condition." Her father relaxes. "Good. That's good." "Dad, what's behind the door?" He's quiet for a long moment. "I don't know." "You don't know? Grandpa was your father." "I know, but he never told me. Never told anyone, as far as I know." "You've never been curious?" Her father looks at her, really looks at her. "Rachel, sweetheart, some doors stay closed for a reason." That's all he'll say about it. But it plants a seed. Rachel starts thinking about the door more. What could be so bad? What could possibly be worth this level of secrecy? December comes. Then January. The door is always there, in the back of her mind. One night in February, she's having trouble sleeping, goes down to the kitchen for water, and she realizes she's standing at the basement door. She doesn't remember walking there. But here she is, hand on the doorknob. She goes down, stands in front of the locked door. This is insane, she thinks. It's probably nothing. Probably just old man paranoia. Probably papers he didn't want anyone to see. Tax stuff, affairs, who knows? She goes back upstairs, gets her keys, returns to the basement. It takes her 20 minutes to pick the first lock. She's not good at it. Watch some YouTube videos, uses a hairpin and a flathead screwdriver. The first deadbolt clicks open. She stops, heart pounding. She could stop now, close it back, walk away, keep the house. But she doesn't. Second lock takes 15 minutes. Third lock, only 5. She's getting the hang of it. All 3 deadbolts are open. Rachel puts her hand on the doorknob, takes a breath, turns it. The door opens. It's not a room. It's a staircase, going down, steep stairs, descending into darkness. There's a light switch on the wall. She flips it. Fluorescent lights flicker on below. Rachel descends. The stairs go down about 15 feet, below the foundation of the house. This was hand-dug. Old work. At the bottom, there's a small room, maybe 10 by 10 feet. Concrete walls, concrete floor, and it's set up like a bedroom, twin bed, nightstand, lamp, a bookshelf with children's books, but everything's bolted down. The bed is bolted to the floor, the nightstand is bolted, even the lamp is secured, and on the far wall, there are restraints, metal loops set into the concrete with leather straps. Rachel feels her stomach turn. On the nightstand, there's a journal. She picks it up, opens it. It's her grandfather's handwriting, dated entries, starting in 1952. She reads the first entry. "Michael is getting worse. The doctors say there's nothing they can do. He's a danger to himself and others. Elizabeth and I have made the decision. We cannot institutionalize him. The shame would destroy us. This is the only way." Rachel's hands start shaking. Michael, her grandfather's brother, the one who died young. Family legend was he died of polio in the early 50s. But that wasn't true. She keeps reading, entry after entry, years of them, her grandfather documenting, keeping his brother locked in this room, feeding him, trying to care for him. On dealing with violent episodes, Michael had something. The journal calls it episodes and fits, probably undiagnosed schizophrenia or severe mental illness, and instead of getting him help, her great-grandparents built this room, kept him down here for years. The last entry is dated 1967. "Michael passed in his sleep last night. It's a mercy. I buried him in the woods behind the property. May God forgive me." Rachel closes the journal, looks around the room. 15 years. Her grandfather's brother lived down here for 15 years. She notices something else. Scratches on the walls, deep gouges in the concrete, like someone had clawed at them, and words, scratched messages. "Let me out, please. I'm sorry," over and over, covering the walls. Rachel backs toward the stairs. She can't breathe. The room feels like it's closing in. First she runs up, through the basement, up to the main floor. She calls her father. It's 2 a.m. She doesn't care. Dad, I opened the door. Silence. Rachel, did you know? Did you know about Michael? More silence then. No, but I suspected it was something like that. How could he do that? It was different back then, her father says quietly. Mental illness was... people didn't understand. Families were ashamed. They hid it. He kept his own brother in a cage. I know. For 15 years? I know, Rachel, I know. She's crying now. What do I do? Her father sighs. Nothing. There's nothing to do. Michael's been dead for over 50 years. Grandpa's gone. Everyone involved is gone. But you opened the door. You broke the condition. You'll have to give up the house. Rachel hangs up. She sits in her kitchen. In this beautiful house. That was built over a tomb. She calls the lawyer the next morning, tells him she's declining the inheritance, personal reasons. The house sells 6 months later. Rachel never finds out if the new owners discovered the room. She never tells anyone what she found, except her therapist. But she thinks about it, late at night. She thinks about Michael, a young man, sick, scared, locked in a concrete room, scratching messages on the walls that nobody would ever read. Until Rachel did. And now she carries that with her. Her grandfather, the man who taught her to fish, who played chess with her, who seemed so kind, was the same man who kept his brother in a cage. She doesn't display family photos anymore, can't look at his face, because now she knows what he was capable of, and she'll never be able to unknow it. Sometimes the secrets aren't in basements, sometimes they're in plain sight, hidden behind normalcy, behind kindness, behind the person who baked you cookies. This next story is about discovering that the grandmother you loved wasn't who you thought she was. Story 2. The Woman in the Closet. This one comes from a man named David. He was 34 when this happened. 2016. David's grandmother, his mother's mother, passed away in March that year. She was 87, natural causes, peaceful death. David had always been close to her. Growing up, he'd spent summers at her house. She was warm, funny, always baking something. Classic grandmother energy. His mother was an only child, so the responsibility of dealing with the estate fell to her. But she was overwhelmed. I asked David to help clean out the house. David agreed. Easy enough. They'd donate most of it, keep some sentimental items. They start in May, going room by room, sorting through decades of accumulated belongings. It's emotional, but manageable. Lots of memories, lots of, oh, I remember this. They get to the master bedroom, his grandmother's room. Typical old lady bedroom, floral bedspread, doilies, photos of family everywhere, a big old wooden wardrobe that she'd used for storage. David opens it, dresses, shoes, boxes of costume jewelry. He's pulling things out when he notices something odd. The wardrobe is about 4 feet deep, but when he measures the inside, it's only 3 feet. He knocks on the back panel. Hollow. Mom, he calls, come look at this. His mother comes over. David shows her. There's space behind this, like a hidden compartment. His mother frowns. That doesn't make sense. David feels around the edges of the back panel, finds a small latch, cleverly hidden in the decorative woodwork. He presses it. The back panel pops open. Behind it, there's a space, about 1 foot deep, just enough for a box. David pulls it out. It's a metal lockbox, old, heavy. What is that? His mother asks. I don't know. The box isn't locked, just a simple latch. David opens it. Inside, there are documents, photos, a passport, but not his grandmother's passport. It's a German passport, issued in 1946. The photo shows a young woman, early 20s, blonde hair, pretty. It's his grandmother, no question. Same face, same eyes, but the name isn't right. The passport says Greta Friedman. David's grandmother's name was Margaret Morrison. She'd been born in England. Came to America in 1949. Married his grandfather in 1950. That's the story he'd always known. Mom, David says slowly, why does Grandma have a German passport? His mother is staring at the document, face pale. I don't know. David digs deeper in the box. There are letters, written in German, old photographs, a Jewish armband, the yellow star, and a document, official looking, also in German. David pulls out his phone, uses Google Translate, takes a photo of the document. The translation comes back rough, but clear enough. Certificate of Liberation, Auschwitz, January 1945. David's blood goes cold. Mom, was Grandma in the camps? His mother shakes her head. No, she never said anything about that. She was English. She grew up in London. But the documents tell a different story. They spend the next hour going through everything in the box. Slowly, a picture emerges. David's grandmother was born Greta Friedman, Jewish, from Munich. She was taken to Auschwitz in 1943. She was 19. She survived, liberated by Soviet forces in January 1945. After the war, she made her way to England, changed her name, created a new identity, Margaret Morrison, born in London. Parents died in the Blitz, no family, no records to contradict her story. She buried Greta Friedman and never spoke of her again. David sits with this information. His grandmother, the woman who made him chocolate chip cookies, who sang him songs, who seemed so gentle and kind, had survived one of history's greatest horrors and never told anyone, not her husband, not her daughter, not her grandson. She'd carried that alone for 60 years. "Bah, why didn't she tell us?" David asks. His mother is crying. "I don't know. Maybe she couldn't. Maybe it was too much." They keep digging through the box. There are more photos. Greta with other people, young people, before the war. On the back of one photo, names are written in pencil. Greta, Sarah, Miriam, Jakob. Munich, 1938. David turns the photo over. 4 teenagers, smiling, arms around each other, happy. His grandmother is on the left. The others? David checks other documents, finds a list, names with dates next to them. Sarah Friedman died Auschwitz, October 1943. Miriam Friedman died Auschwitz, December 1943. Jakob Friedman died Auschwitz, November 1944. Her siblings, her whole family. She was the only one who made it out. David's mother picks up another document. It's a letter, in English, dated 1951. It's addressed to Mrs. Margaret Morrison from the Red Cross. It reads, "Dear Mrs. Morrison, we regret to inform you that we have been unable to locate any surviving members of the Friedman family of Munich. All known relatives perished during the war. We have closed this inquiry as per your request." David's mother looks up. She tried to find them. After she came to America, she tried to find if anyone else survived. And no one did, David says quietly. They sit in silence. Then David notices something else in the box, at the very bottom, a small notebook, leather-bound, very worn. He opens it. It's a diary, written in German. Greta's handwriting. He recognizes it from the letters. David starts translating entries with his phone. The first entry is dated January 28, 1945, the day after liberation. It reads, "I am alive. I don't know why. I should have died. Sarah died. Miriam died. Jakob died. Mama, Papa, everyone. But I am alive. I don't know if I can carry this, the weight of being the only one left. I want to die, but I'm too afraid. Even after everything, I'm afraid of death. So I will live. But not as Greta. Greta died in the camp. I will become someone new, someone who doesn't remember, someone who doesn't carry this. I will bury Greta and never speak her name again." David and his mother spent weeks processing this information. They debated whether to tell other family members, decided against it. It wasn't their secret to share. David did more research, found records, confirmed everything they'd discovered. Greta Friedman existed. She survived. She came to England. And then she vanished from all records. Margaret Morrison appeared in 1948. A perfect paper trail from that point forward. David tried to reconcile these two people, the grandmother he knew and the young woman in the photos, but they felt like different people entirely. Margaret had been cheerful, optimistic, always humming songs, always baking, never talked about the past, never mentioned family beyond her husband. Now he understood why. She'd built a wall between who she was and who she'd been. And that wall held for 60 years. David kept the box, keeps it still. Sometimes he looks at the photos, at young Greta with her siblings, happy, innocent, no idea what was coming. And he thinks about his grandmother, the strength it took to survive, the strength it took to build a new life, but also the loneliness, carrying that alone, never telling anyone, never being able to talk about her real family. be living as someone else for 60 years. He understands why she did it. Post-war anti-Semitism, trauma, the need to move forward. But it breaks his heart, because she never got to grieve properly, never got to talk about Sarah or Miriam or Jakob. She buried them when she buried Greta. And the worst part? David found one last entry in the diary, dated 1989. It reads, "Today is Miriam's birthday. She would have been 65. I am Margaret Morrison. I have a daughter, a grandson, a good life. But sometimes, late at night, I am still Greta. And I miss my sister so much I can't breathe. I want to tell them. I want to tell Margaret, my daughter, about her real grandmother, about who I really am. But I can't. Because if I open that door, if I let Greta out, I don't think I'll survive it again. So I will keep being Margaret. And Greta will stay buried, where she belongs." Modern technology has made it very easy to uncover secrets. Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, family tree websites. Sometimes you find out you're 3% Neanderthal. Sometimes you find out your entire family history is a lie. This third story? This is about the danger of looking too closely at where you came from. Story 3. The Stranger. This story comes from a woman named Jennifer. She's 31 now. This happened in 2020. Like a lot of people during lockdown, Jennifer got bored, ordered one of those DNA ancestry kits, mostly curiosity. Wanted to know her ethnic breakdown. She spits in the tube, sends it off, forgets about it. 6 weeks later, she gets an email. Results are in. She opens them. Ethnicity is pretty much what she expected. 60% Irish, 25% German, 15% mix of other European. But there's another section. DNA relatives. The site matches you with other users who share DNA. Tells you how you're related. Jennifer scrolls through. Close family. Her brother shows up. That makes sense. He'd done the test a year earlier. Then there's a section for first cousins. A few names she recognizes. Her mom's sister's kids. That tracks. But there's one name that doesn't fit. Paul Hernandez, listed as a first cousin. Jennifer doesn't know any Paul Hernandez, she's sure of it. She clicks on his profile. He's 57, lives in Arizona. Their shared DNA indicates they're first cousins, or possibly half-siblings. Jennifer stares at the screen. Half-siblings? That can't be right. She messages Paul through the site. "Hi, the site says we're related. I don't recognize your name. Do you know how we might be connected?" Paul responds the next day. "Hi, Jennifer. I'm adopted, so I'm using this site to find biological family. Based on the DNA match, it looks like we share a parent. Do you know which of your parents might have had a child before you?" Jennifer's mind races. Her parents have been married for 35 years. She has one brother, 2 years younger than her. There's never been any mention of other children. She calls her brother. "Did you know Mom or Dad had another kid?" "What? No, where's this coming from?" Jennifer explains the DNA test. Her brother is skeptical. Maybe it's a mistake. Those tests aren't always accurate. But Jennifer digs deeper. She messages Paul again, asks for more details. Paul tells her he was born in 1963, adopted as an infant. Her birth certificate lists mother as unknown, father as unknown. But he was born in the same city where Jennifer's father grew up. Jennifer does the math. Her father would have been 17 in 1963. She doesn't want to believe it. But the evidence is mounting. She debates for a week, then decides she has to ask. She calls her father. "Dad, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest." "Okay. Did you have a child before you married Mom?" Silence. Long silence. "Who told you?" Jennifer's heart sinks. "No one told me. I did a DNA test. I matched with someone." More silence. "Dad?" "It was a long time ago," her father finally says. "I was 17. My high school girlfriend got pregnant. Her parents sent her away. The baby was adopted. I never met him." "Him. So it's a boy. His name is Paul." "Jennifer, why didn't you ever tell us?" "Because it was before your mother, before our family. It was a closed chapter." "Did Mom know?" Another pause. "No." "Jesus, Dad. It was 57 years ago." "It's your son." I know. But what was I supposed to do? He was adopted. He had a family. I moved on. Your mother and I built our life." Jennifer hangs up. She sits with this information for days. Her father has another son, a whole other person out there, her half-brother, and he's been looking for his biological family. She messages Paul again, explains the situation, confirms, "Yes, your biological father is my father." Paul's grateful. He's been searching for years, just wanted to know where he came from. They start talking regularly. Paul's a nice guy, married, 3 kids, normal life. But here's where it gets complicated. Jennifer decides to tell her mother. She can't keep this secret. It's too big. Her mother does not take it well. "He had a child and never told me? Mom, he was 17. We've been married for 35 years. 35 years and he never thought to mention he had a son?" It causes a rift, a big one. Jennifer's mother feels betrayed. Her father feels ambushed. They separate, not divorce, but they're living apart. Jennifer's brother blames her for breaking up the family. "You should have kept it to yourself," he says. "It was the truth." Some truths don't need to be told. Jennifer starts talking to Paul more. He feels guilty, didn't mean to cause problems. But he also wants to meet his biological father. Jennifer arranges it, reluctantly. The meeting is awkward. Paul and her father sit across from each other in a coffee shop. Paul has questions, medical history. What was his birth mother like? "Why didn't you try to find me?" Her father answers honestly. "I was a kid. I was scared. Her parents wouldn't let me be involved, and over time, it became easier to pretend it never happened." "But it did happen," Paul says quietly. "I know. I existed, even if you didn't know me. I know." Paul leaves after an hour. He gets the answers he wanted, but he tells Jennifer later, "I don't think he wanted a son. I think he wanted to keep forgetting." And that's what hurts. Not that he gave Paul up for adoption. That was probably the right choice at 17. But that he spent 57 years never wondering, never checking, never trying to find out what happened to his child. Just moved on. Built a new family and never looked back. Jennifer's relationship with her father is different now. She looks at him and sees someone who can compartmentalize, who can lock away huge parts of his life and pretend they don't exist. And she wonders what else he's capable of hiding. Her parents did eventually reconcile, sort of. They're together, but it's strained. Jennifer stays in touch with Paul. He's family, whether everyone accepts it or not. But family gatherings are weird now. There's the elephant in the room, the half-brother who isn't invited, the secret that got out. And Jennifer carries guilt. She opened Pandora's box. She did a DNA test for fun and ended up breaking her family. Was she wrong to tell her mother? Was she wrong to connect Paul with their father? She doesn't know, but she can't unknow any of it now. And that's the thing about family secrets. Once they're out, there's no putting them back. The last story is different. It's not about past sins or hidden children. It's about what happens when you discover your parent is involved in something wrong, something ongoing, something you can't ignore. Story 4. Father's Study. I need to preface this story with a content warning. It involves child exploitation. I won't be graphic, but the subject matter is serious. If you need to skip this one, I understand. Okay. This story comes from a young woman named Melissa. She's 24 now. This happened when she was 22. 2 years ago. Melissa grew up in a normal suburban family. Dad was an IT consultant. Mom was a teacher. She had a younger sister. Good childhood. Normal teenage years. She went to college. Came back home during the pandemic in 2020. That's when she noticed something odd about her father. He'd always been a bit private. Had an office in the house that was his space. Nobody went in there. That was the rule. But during lockdown, he was in there constantly. Door locked, sometimes for 8-10 hours a day. Melissa asked her mom about it. "Oh, he's just working," her mom said. "Lots of clients need help with their systems right now." Made sense, but Melissa noticed other things. Her father was jumpy, anxious. He'd close his laptop quickly if anyone walked by. He'd changed all his passwords. She knew because he used to share the Netflix password with the family, but suddenly it didn't work anymore. And he'd started keeping his office locked even when he wasn't in there. Melissa told herself she was being paranoid. Lockdown was making everyone weird. But then she found the phone. August 2020. She's doing laundry, finds a phone in her dad's pants pocket. It's not his regular phone. She knows his phone, iPhone 11. This is an old Android. Cheap model. Burner phone, she thinks immediately. Why does her dad have a burner phone? She tries to turn it on. It's locked with a pin. She puts it back where she found it. But now she's suspicious. Over the next few weeks, she pays closer attention. Her father gets package deliveries, a lot of them. She sees him bring them straight to his office. She asks, "What are you ordering?" "Work stuff," he says quickly. "Hard drives, equipment." He's lying. She can tell. September comes. Melissa's sister goes back to college. Her mom is teaching in person again. It's just Melissa and her dad home most days. One afternoon, her father goes out, says he's getting groceries. Melissa makes a decision. She's going to check his office. The door's locked, obviously, but Melissa knows where the house keys are kept. Old keyring in the garage with duplicates of everything. She finds the office key, opens the door. The office looks normal at first. Desk, computer, filing cabinets, bookshelves. But then she sees the setup. Multiple monitors, server racks, actual server equipment, way more than someone would need for IT consulting. External hard drives, dozens of them, all running, fans whirring, lights blinking. Melissa sits at the desk. The computer is on, locked, but on. She knows her dad's old passwords. He used to be predictable. Family birthdays, pet names. She tries a few combinations. The fourth one works. The computer unlocks. What she sees makes her stomach drop. The desktop is organized with folders, hundreds of them, each labeled with codes. She opens one, images, photos of children, not innocent photos. Melissa's hands start shaking. She opens another folder, more images, videos. She backs away from the computer. Her father is collecting child sexual abuse material. She's going to be sick. She runs to the bathroom, throws up, then she goes back to the office. She needs to be sure, needs to confirm before she what? Calls the police on her own father? She forces herself to look closer. The folders are organized by dates. Some go back years, 2015, 2016, 2017. This has been going on for a long time. She checks the internet history. Dark web browsers, encrypted messaging apps, forums with names she doesn't recognize but can guess their purpose. Her father isn't just collecting this material. He's trading it, distributing it. Melissa hears a car in the driveway. He's back. She closes everything, locks the computer, runs out of the office, locks the door behind her, returns the key to the garage. When her father comes in with groceries, she's sitting on the couch, pretending to watch TV. "Hey, sweetie," he says, normal voice, normal dad. "Hey," she manages. He puts away groceries, goes to his office, locks himself in. Melissa sits there. Her father, the man who taught her to ride a bike, who came to her soccer games, who helped her with homework, is a predator. She doesn't sleep that night. She debates what to do. If she calls the police, her father goes to prison. Her family is destroyed. Her mother, her sister, their lives are ruined. But if she doesn't, those are real children, real victims. By morning, she's made her decision. She calls the FBI, uses the online tip form, submits an anonymous report with her address and what she found. 3 days later, FBI agents show up with a warrant. They arrest her father, seize all the equipment. The news breaks. Local IT consultant arrested for child pornography. Melissa's mother is in shock, doesn't believe it, thinks it's a mistake. But as evidence comes out, she can't deny it anymore. Melissa never tells her family that she was the one who called the FBI, lets them think it was part of a larger investigation. Her father pleads guilty, gets 15 years. The family falls apart. Her mother divorces him, sells the house, moves across the country. Melissa's sister stops talking to her, blames her for not keeping the family together, even though she doesn't know Melissa's role. Melissa carries the weight of that decision. She knows she did the right thing, but it cost her everything. Her family is gone. Her mother won't talk about it. Her sister is distant, and she has to live with knowing that her father, was hurting children. She goes to therapy, lots of therapy. The therapist asks, "Do you regret calling the FBI?" Melissa thinks about it. "No," she says finally. "I regret that I had to. I regret that he did those things. I regret that I grew up thinking he was a good man when he wasn't. But calling the FBI? That's the only thing I don't regret." Melissa is estranged from most of her family now. She changed her last name, moved to a different state, started over. She doesn't talk about her father. When people ask about her family, she says they're not close. And at night when she can't sleep, she thinks about those children in the photos. Wonders if her call helped protect any of them. Hopes it did, because that's the only thing that makes it bearable. That somewhere, because she found that office and made that call. Maybe a child is safer. And that has to be enough. 4 families, 4 secrets, 4 moments when the truth came out and everything changed. Michael, locked in a basement for 15 years because his family couldn't face his illness. Greta, who survived the Holocaust but buried her entire identity to escape the trauma. Paul, who just wanted to know where he came from and accidentally broke a marriage. And Melissa's father, whose secret cost him everything and should have. These aren't ghost stories. These aren't urban legends. These are real families, real people, real secrets that were kept for years, sometimes decades. And I know some of you watching this are thinking about your own families right now, wondering what might be hidden, what you don't know, what your parents or grandparents never told you. And maybe that's okay. Maybe some secrets should stay buried. But maybe, and this is what keeps me up at night, maybe some secrets need to come out. Because Michael deserved better than that basement. Greta deserved to grieve her family. Paul deserved to know his father. And those children in the photos deserved someone to make that call. Secrets protect people, but they also hurt people. And it's not always clear which is which until it's too late. I don't have answers. I don't know if Rachel should have opened that door. And I don't know if Jennifer should have told her mother. But I know this. Family is complicated. History is complicated. Truth is complicated. And sometimes the people we love most are capable of things we can't imagine. That's not a reason to stop loving them, but it's a reason to keep your eyes open, to ask questions, to not accept, "Don't worry about it," as an answer. Because the secrets that stay buried, they don't go away. They just wait until someone like Rachel opens a door, or David finds a box, or Jennifer spits in a tube, or Melissa unlocks an office, and then everything changes. Forever. Thanks for listening. And if you found out something about your family today, I'm sorry, but at least now you know.